Here's my 5 tips on building a custom home. I'm Stephen Nemmons with Copper Builders. I'm the sales manager here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I've got 5 tips for you on building a custom home. It's important, first of all, to really understand that when you're getting into a custom home, you can really kind of get over your skis, so to speak, in terms of little details that can really make the process difficult. So I want to give you these 5 tips to just help you get through the process. So the first tip has to do with the plan. And I would highly recommend starting from an existing plan versus starting with a blank piece of paper. And so I would recommend finding a plan, from the builder. Like, we have plans we can work from. Or if you have a plan that you found that you really like, that's the best way to start, because then we can take that plan and we can start moving walls, adding things, taking things away, and it gives you a really good place to start. So tip number 2 is to have a big idea of what you want your spaces to look like in terms of design. This will keep the process moving and it'll keep it fun. So there's some great places to look: Pinterest, Houzz, browsing houses on Realtor.com or Zillow. We have a ton of photos as well, which you can utilize. So we can show you the inside of a lot of homes. You can see what other people have done, take some things that you like. And what this does for you is it keeps the design process moving. So when you go to the tile place to pick out your tile, and they ask you, hey, what kind of tile, what color scheme do you want in your master? You can show them a picture. Say, hey, I like this. All right, tip number 3 is, before you buy a plan or get your heart set on a plan or a price specifically, have a builder out to your lot to evaluate it. There's a lot of site conditions and what we call area figures that go into building the house. Area figures, and site conditions are, does it need well and septic? Is it a crawl space? Is it a basement? Are you going to need retaining walls? How much are we clearing? Is the dirt good? Are we going to need to have, pylons and caissons, under the foundation to support it? So those are big things you can answer up front. Also, the setbacks on the lot are huge in determining what house you can put on that lot. And that varies by local ordinance. And so getting with a local builder who knows the local ordinances can save you a ton of headache, a ton of time. And then once you have all those things, then you can determine, okay, what's the footprint of the house? What's that going to look like? What foundation do I need? And then you can kind of get into that and let the builder help you along. And that's something we can help you with. All right, so tip number 4 would be surrounding financing. And the tip is to get your financing in order and ask the right questions up front. And so when you're building a custom home, if the builder owns the lot, you could wind up with maybe a fixed price situation where you're just taking a normal loan. But it could also be a situation where maybe you own the lot or the builder could own the lot, where you're going to take a construction to perm loan. Basically, you're going to buy the lot up front, and then you're going to take a construction loan. There's going to be draws, and then you'll close on that construction loan and roll it into permanent financing like a 30-year mortgage. Different banks do it different ways, and some of them specialize in the construction to perm loan, which is really what I'm focusing on here. So you can, educate yourself on how that works. Get yourself lined up with a bank that can do that. And local builders like us, we have connections at local banks that, do the financing that our buyers need. And so if you want some information on how the financing works to build a custom home, just give us a call. We'd be happy to help you. Tip number 5 is all about communication. And when you're building a custom home, after you've gone through the plans and the design, and we're now building the home, Construction is undoubtedly a messy process. We start construction and we're in the middle of it. It doesn't look anything close to what it's going to look like when we deliver the brand new home to you. So, as you're walking through the home and you're walking on the site, you may see things that maybe they don't look right or they don't look right yet. It's super important to call or email, your project or site manager and just ask the question. Keeping those things in, it's not a good idea, just like any relationship. And this is a relationship between you and the builder, and the communication needs to be good because you're trusting the builder to build your home. And so having that open communication, if you're having, second thoughts on a certain finish, waiting until that finish is in could be very costly. A great example, we are building you a niche in your shower and you look at it at framing and you're like, oh, it doesn't really look big enough. But you don't say anything until the tile's in. And now, can it be changed? Sure, but now it's a remodeling project and that's gonna cost you money. Now we have to rip out the tile, we have to reframe it, retile it. So that can all be, taken care of in framing if you, just communicate with your project managers. A lot of that stuff is not a big deal. So thanks for listening to these 5 tips on building a custom home. Again, I'm Stefan Nemmens with Copper Builders here in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you'd like some information on building a custom home on either your lot or our lot, give us a call or shoot us an email. Check us out at copperbuilders.com.